All right, for more reaction, let's bring in Oilers reporter Ryan Rishaug. And Shogger, you were just in that locker room. I mean, what was the atmosphere like in there? It had to have been fun. Music had to have been bumping, I'm assuming.
Well, they turn the music down when the media gets in there. But yes, they were definitely playing La Bamba, baby, for sure. That's what they do. What I would say is that every player that I asked about Connor McDavid tonight just shook their heads. They almost didn't know what to say. Like Matthias Ekholm gathered himself and then gave a great answer. Just how it's unbelievable. Zach Hyman saying you don't want to put pressure on him, but it's almost like you expect that from him. And Connor Brown almost got choked up, like didn't have words. Think about what this player has done in 2 games, elimination games. Connor McDavid has 8 points. And really, tonight's night started for him in the second period when he just really took over the game in a lot of ways, right? So you got the Florida Panthers pushing back, and Connor McDavid, sets up Evan Bouchard. That leads to the Zach Hyman goal. He ends up scoring the 3-0 goal, catching Bobrovsky a little bit on his toes there. And then this one was unreal. He was exhausted on that shift and walked through the whole team. Then with Florida pushing back, he ends up drawing a penalty. Eventually, he ends up getting the empty net goal. Like Connor McDavid was all over it tonight at both ends of the ice. His defensive play tonight, his defensive prowess late in that game, Tessa, these were signature performances all over the ice at both ends of the ice from Connor McDavid. Truly phenomenal. 8 points in his last 2 games.
Look, it's fun to watch. I'd be lying if I said anything different. It is awesome to see this guy play when he's going. Speaking of someone else who's going, Stuart Skinner held down the fort, making 29 saves. So how would you assess his performance in Game 5?
Yes. Yeah, very, very good, Tessa. Like, very steady. And I really felt that Stuart Skinner was going to need to be excellent in this game tonight because really felt like the Florida Panthers were going to push. And Skinner outdueled, again, Sergei Bobrovsky at the other end of the ice. And it started early on in this game. That save early on, there were a couple of big saves. Stuart Skinner kind of made a statement that he was here to play and he was going to stabilize this group. So when the Florida Panthers were pressing, Stuart Skinner was calm in there. He was controlling things, controlling his rebounds. He was very steady, didn't let in or make the big mistake that you could argue was made at the other end of the ice. So it's pretty incredible the way the goaltending story in this series had shifted. Sergei Bobrovsky was lights out early on, and Stuart Skinner has been the better goaltender for a number of games here.
Yeah, well, other than the obvious flowering for McDavid and for Skinner, who else stepped up in a big way leading the Oilers to victory in your eyes?
Yeah, it's these depth players again, right? It's a couple of games in a row here where Chris Knoblauch has been starting his third line. That's Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown, and Adam Henrique. And they have done a fantastic job getting the Oilers off on the right foot. Tonight, I really like the fact that basically on the first shift of the game, they created a scoring chance right out of the gate. And then, of course, Connor Brown, just some brilliant penalty killing. A great stick, springs himself, backhanded in. Another shorthanded goal to open the scoring. It's the first time that's ever happened in back-to-back Stanley Cup final games. So these penalty killers, these third-line players have multiple games in a row relieved the pressure, right? Early in the game when the team is at its most tense, they're the ones that have hit that pressure release valve and come up with offense, and then the offensive players have been able to come through and finish off. So Tessa, just really impressive. With all the focus on McDavid and Draisaitl, and the power play gets going tonight and all those things, they're depth players, that third line, and again, this penalty kill. For this entire playoff, the penalty kill has been the most dangerous, consistent element to this Oiler team, and they were dynamite again tonight, led by Connor Brown.
By committee, 1 game at a time, right? Well, the Oilers first in Game 6 after losing the first 3 games in the Stanley Cup final. The last team to do that was the Devils back in 2012. Thanks, Rishaug.